Good afternoon, colleagues from the press and our friends who are always here with us. Thanks for coming once more and responding to our invite. Although today we have not invited you to convey good news, I'm sure all of you are aware of the pain that the ANC is going through, given the passing on of Mama Winnie Madikizela-Mandela. Today we are going to outline to you the program of the African National Congress. I have with me the Secretary General of the ANC, Comrade Ace Magashule. I also have with me General Matanzima on behalf of the family, who is also part of the Federal Preparatory Committee. I also have with me our Chaplain General, Reverend Mehana. I'm sure I'm pronouncing the same name quite well, Pastor. So they are all here to come and present to you the detailed program of the African National Congress. Over to you, Comrade Secretary General.
Well, good afternoon. Let me welcome everybody, as Comrade Pule has already welcomed you. Today marks the second day of the demise of our beloved mother of the nation, Comrade Winnie Madikizela-Mandela. This tragedy has gripped the nation with shock and sadness. This had led to the outpouring of messages of condolences and support to the family and expressing a sense of loss. It is indeed a national tragedy, albeit inevitable that those who hold in high esteem may not be with us physically forever. However, their legacy and footprints continue to remind us of their eternal presence amongst us. As South Africans, we are united in conveying a shared loss to the family and kin. As the ANC, we have been heartened by the cross-section of South Africans from different walks of life who have reached out to the family and conveyed messages of hope and goodwill. And in the last 2 days, it has been evident that Umama Winnie Madikizela-Mandela in her lifetime has touched many lives in our country and beyond. And as we ponder what lies ahead of us in her physical absence, we are convinced that hers was a life of commitment, servitude, and selflessness. The indelible mark she has left in our hearts through years of relentless commitment to equity, freedom, and justice compels us to rise to the occasion and ensure that we celebrate her life and preserve the values she espoused as embodied in the tradition of the Congress movement. And today we mourn a true South African who rose from humble beginnings in Bizana and rose to prominence in her steadfast abhorrence of apartheid and what it stood for. Her appeal found expression in many struggles waged across many sides. And on our part, working together with the family, we have decided and we have developed a 10-day mourning program which also seeks to celebrate the life of this revolutionary giant. And in celebrating Mama's Winnie outstanding life, her organization, the ANC, once more declares Mama Nomzamo the mother of the nation, who was selfless, courageous, and ever patriotic. And over the next 10 days of mourning and beyond, we will continue to celebrate and honor her lasting legacy. And that one that we are proud of and to be emulated by generations to come. And I will outline the program as follows. Maybe I should start from today. From today, the 4th of April, Comrade Deputy President of the ANC, Comrade Mabuza, the Treasurer General, Comrade Paul Mashatile, and the National Chairperson, Gwera Mandashe, and other officials of the Youth League have visited the family. In the visit, there is also a visit by the ANC Parliamentary Caucus, and there will be condolences visit by AU Commission Chairperson Musa Faki Muhammad with Dr. Ibrahim Mayaki, and the ANC Women's League Regional Prayer Service with procession starting at Uncle Tom's place. And there will be condolences visit by the SACP Central Executive Committee and the unveiling of the 10-day program of mourning. That is day one today. Tomorrow on Thursday, the entire National Executive Committee will visit the family in Soweto, led by the officials, and there will also be the opening of the condolences book for members of the public to write messages of support. And this condolences book will also be available across all 53 ANC regional offices. And there will also be Solomon Mahlangu Bazari Gala dinner tomorrow at Vista Mamelodi campus, because that's what Mama Winnie would love to see. Continuing with the business of the day, continuing bettering the lives of our people. And day 4, Solomon Mahlangu Day on Friday, which will see visit to the gallows early in the early hours of the morning, 5 o'clock, to lay wreaths at the graveyard, and lunch at Mahlangu home, culminating in the Solomon Mahlangu Memorial Lecture. And there will also be the visit to the residence by a delegation led by ANC Veterans League. And on Friday, the same day, day 3, all-black night for Mama Winnie, celebrating the life and legacy of an icon to be held at Newton Music Factory, formerly Baseline. And on Saturday, the 7th of April, this day will be dedicated to Winnie Mandela Day of Service, where ANC volunteers will do work at an identified hospice in Soweto. And the wall of murals depicting the life and time of and struggles led by Mama Winnie Madikizela-Mandela will also be unveiled. And on Sunday, ANC leaders will attend church services across the country. The churches on their own have decided to dedicate Sunday to Mama Winnie Mandela. Day 6, on Monday, on the 9th of April, we will unveil the tribute wall outside the Albertina Luthuli House, and there will also be 2 ANC main memorial services held at Standard Bank Arena in Johannesburg and in Bizana. This will be supported by memorial services in all other provinces, including Brandfort, where Comrade Winnie was banished. And on Tuesday, the 10th of April, you remember this is the month of April, and we will also be celebrating the life of Comrade Chris Hani. So we will have Chris Hani memorial activities together with the Alliance, and we'll also visit the families of Chris Hani by former presidents of the ANC. And on Wednesday, the 11th, there will be government official memorial services at various places. And here in Gauteng, it will take place at Regina Mundi. And day 9, on Friday, the 12th of April, we'll go to the University of Pretoria, memorial service there, and there will be visit by presidents of former Women's League. And the ANC Women's League will lead a mass prayer together with Women Manyano of the Methodist Church in Soweto. And there will be a night vigil to be held at Orlando Rugby Stadium, just the day before the burial or the funeral of Comrade Winnie Madikizela-Mandela. And of course, on the last day, the 10th, the 13th of April, we will have a funeral. And we have also conceptualized a national plan that will involve all provinces, facilitated by the ANC-led alliance, to ensure that the mourning period covers the entirety of the country. And each province will develop its program in line with the national program. Branches, regions, and the program we are here has been discussed in detail with Madikizela-Mandela family to ensure that they support and participate in it. And therefore, we appeal to all South Africans to continue giving support to the family and ensuring that our mother, our heroine, received a deserved send-off. Because Comrade Winnie was not just a women's leader, she was the leader of our revolution. And I think we must make sure that the send-off is a well-deserved one. And we are aware that the South African public is responding positively to bid farewell to this revolutionary giant. I want to take this opportunity to once more thank you for making sure that you celebrate as the media and we inform our nation about the role which Comrade Winnie Madikizela-Mandela has played and touched each and every life of South Africans, but the continent as a whole as well as the world. And that's why even from today, we have different delegations. There's the delegation from Palestine, which has gone to the family. There are delegations from SWAPO. We have received a lot of messages from the continent. And we are very fortunate as South Africans to have had a leader like her. And that's why we salute her and say, long live the spirit of Mama Madikizela-Mandela, long live. I want to thank you.
Thank you, Secretary General. Just one slight announcement as well, that on our own webpage, members of the public, the entirety of South Africa can now visit and be able to deposit their own messages of condolences on www.anc.org.za. There is a web page dedicated to that. There is also a hashtag on Twitter.
Committee to come and pay our respects in the wake of this sad development, the passing away of Umamu Winnie Madikizela-Mandela. She was a very special woman to all components of the alliance. We respected her deeply in the party for a very sterling role that he played in the liberation struggle. At a time when the apartheid regime was trying by all means that our movement is forgotten, wiped out, and especially the name of Nelson Mandela. But Umamu Winnie kept the fires burning, kept the name of the ANC despite all the difficulties that were there, and also kept the name of Nelson Mandela not to be forgotten, which was an attempt that the apartheid government had tried to do. We are truly saddened and shocked because we were under the impression that she had passed the worst in terms of her health. to then suddenly learn that she passed away on Monday. So we had come to wish the family strength as well as her comrades, to say that much as this may be more painful to the family, but this is a loss to the nation as a whole, to be quite honest. Not just the family, important as the family is, not just the SACP, important as she was to us, but the nation as a whole. She really played her role. Perhaps that's how we should comfort ourselves, you know, that she did all that was supposed to be done, despite some of the brutal methods that were used by the apartheid regime to try and break her.
Her passing on comes at a time when the ANC is trying to ensure that there's unity preparations to the elections. What can you learn as an alliance from her life and also her commitment?
It is indeed sad that she lives at this time, as our movement is trying to rebuild itself after having gone through a terrible period, actually, that was threatening to tear the ANC apart and to tear the alliance apart. But maybe then, in order to turn this loss into something constructive for ourselves, is to say in her name we shall deepen our efforts to unite the ANC as well as to unite the alliance, and use her as that symbol of the unity of our movement. Because we are absolutely clear, without the unity of the movement as a whole, even the gains that we've made as a country, they can actually be reversed in a manner that we hadn't thought of. So we need to then say, in order to say goodbye to Mam Winnie properly, let's commit to rebuild the unity, the image, and the respect and the dignity that our movement has had.
I would just like to slip in one question there, Secretary General, and it's around the image of the ANC. As you would have noticed today, the former President, Jacob Zuma, was here and addressed at the very same spot you did. The question really is about whether or not the SACP will be outside court on Friday in support of the former president when he goes through the court case.
Definitely not. We are of the view as the SACP that now we really do need to respect the courts. The courts have come around to establish that this case must go ahead, and we will abide by that. We won't be outside the court this time around.
How is it different from the previous court case in Pietermaritzburg?
Well, that's a long story, Sophie, which I can't answer in a brief, you know, impromptu press conference, because at that time we were really convinced that there was serious abuse of state institutions to fight and settle internal scores. We were convinced. There were many signs of that. And as the Communist Party, we were very consistent. We did not only take this matter up in relation to former President Zuma. When comrades Cyril, Tokyo, and Matthew Posa were being accused of plots that were not there just because they were wanting to stand for some positions in the ANC, we're the first ones to come out to say, this thing must not be done, it must come to an end. Even today, we will continue to fight any abuse of state institutions to settle political scores. At the moment, in terms of what has happened over the last 10 to 12 years, this matter being in and out of court, argued, and in the end, the President Zuma himself admitted through his lawyers, you know, that it was irrational for this case actually to be withdrawn by the National Prosecuting Authority. So it's not only us, it's his lawyers as well who have said that. So let's allow the process to take its course. Thank you.
All right, those were live visuals coming to us from the ANC headquarters, Luthuli House, where the ruling party just communicated the order of program, which will be to commemorate the passing of struggle and ANC stalwart Umama Winnie Madikizela-Mandela, who passed away on Monday. ANC Secretary General there is Magashule saying that today that we mourn an individual who rose from the grips of apartheid and never wavered for what she believed to be an equal South Africa. He said over the next few days, this is how she will be mourned. Here's some of the things that he announced. President Ramaphosa, Paul Mashatile and the rest of the top 6 officials have already, we hear, visited the family, and tomorrow the entire NEC will also be visiting the family, and a condolences book for the public will also be opened, and a Solomon Mahlangu dinner is also going to be held, followed by a delegation that will lay a wreath at his gravesite, and then Saturday will be the official day of the Winnie Mandela service out in Soweto, and Sunday will also be dedicated to her, where 2 memorial services for the ANC will be held at the ANC branches across the provinces, and activities to remember Chris Anya also planned, and a mass prayer will also be held in her honor, which will then lead to official funeral proceedings. He did appeal to everyone to make sure that her send-off is a well-deserved one, and thanked all South Africans for their contributions as well as condolences at this stage. We also saw just now outside Mama Winnie's Soweto home, Blaine Zimande, who spoke about how Mam Winnie kept the ANC's fire burning and the liberation movement fueled without any fear. Even when they tried, the apartheid government tried to break her, she refused to cower to those inhumane methods, adding that her passing is a loss for the whole entire nation, and that we should make it a positive and use her as a unifying symbol of both the movement and the alliance. All right, with that, let's take a quick ad break, and we'll have more after the break.
Technology is used for both positive and negative.
Some governments block the internet in times of protest.
With this internet blackout, it's impossible for me to do it, so I have to travel to Douala.
This act is a true violation of the rights of citizens.
In Africa, people are always coming up with innovative ways to use technology to solve some of their problems.
The more interesting piece of technology is actually the artificial intelligence.
AI, it's utilizing data to make your life easier.
Our network will give you Africa's technology and social media news.
For all your technology news, join Siphumelele Zondi every Saturday at 17:30.
Africans into a non-racial, non-sexist, united South Africa are very immense. And in everything which is sometimes good, you may want to say there is something there which is, but it's minute. Because there's no human being who is perfect. But we can't talk about any imperfections. Her contribution to the struggle and to humanity are so immense. And that's why we want to salute her.
Thanks, SG. Maybe I must give the Chaplain General just to unpack a bit on the religious program on Sunday and the Women Umanyano on Thursday next week.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. From the church point of view, as the Secretary General has said, Mama Winnie was a full member of the Methodist Church and also a full member of the Women's Manyano, Abonoroi-Bach. She attended the service on Friday of the Seven Words, like all of us in the Methodist Church, I'm sure many other denominations and Christians. So her circuit is Johannesburg North Circuit, which Midlands form part of it. And that circuit will be also doing their memorial service on Sunday afternoon as a church, as a local church where she was worshiping. But at connectional level, the church is led by the presiding bishop, Bishop Siwa, who is the head of the Methodist Church of Southern Africa, working with the district bishop, Reverend Gary Rivers, that to ensure that the Methodist Church, it gives the dignity that it deserves to its member, Mama Winnie. However, Mama Winnie was larger than just one church. Mama Winnie belongs also to what we call ecumenical fraternity of many, many other churches. And we were blessed this morning at home when the family received the delegation of the South African Council of Churches, and also the General Secretary of the World Methodist Conference, Bishop Abrams, was there to come and minister to that family. From today going forward, there will be a continuing of the family prayer services from 6:30 to 7:30. And between now until the day when Mama is laid to rest, church leaders from various denominations, various churches, maybe faiths, will be taking up and participating right through. So it will not just be a dominance of the Methodist Church, it will be Christianity in general and other faiths that will come because Mama touched many lives. With regard to the provincial ANC memorials, each province has got provincial chaplaincies. They will be ministering and be part of those memorial services. As we have heard that there will be an official state funeral, official memorial. The Methodist Church and other church leaders will be participating at a ecumenical level in that memorial service. And then similarly to the funeral. Of course, as I've said, possibly the presiding bishop of the Methodist Church will be giving the main sermon on the day of the funeral. We want to thank the religious leaders throughout the country, who many of them, they have phoned into the family, they've ministered in through many ways to the children in the family at large. We would like to continue to encourage all those churches that will be visited by the NEC members and other people that they spend some time during their liturgies and during their services to find a moment to thank God for this wonderful, wonderful gift that God gave to South Africa. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Chaplain General. We are now going to take the last round of questions. Ndebo, CNBC. Okay. Iti aqale phambili and then Uzo.
Good afternoon. My name is Ndebo Mukowa from the SABC. A colleague of mine asked one question about the negativity around Mamu. The question hasn't been answered, but I think maybe I need to add on what you said. SJ, there's been a trend now in ANC whereby memorial lectures and memorial services are used either to rubbish one individual or certain individuals in the ANC. As the ANC, what are you doing to sort of care that to say to your members or to your senior
for the funeral. Is there going to be, what's the process going to be in terms of that? And secondly, I just have a small concern, SG, about has the ANC had any discussions on the Brentford home of Mama Winnie and its state? And what are the ANC's plans in preserving that legacy of Brentford? And secondly, where in Brentford are the proceedings of that particular day that there will be a service there going to happen?
On SG, before you come, just on the accreditation, to quickly clear that one, there is a government process on accreditation. There is also going to be an ANC process on the accreditation as well. We will be able to issue statements on our own platforms from tomorrow, just advising. Our accreditation team is already working on that, so that we could synchronize our own media team and those that might have already subscribed or enlisted their details on the government one, so that there is a clear coordination. Even when this is a national official state funeral, you will also know that Mama Winnie was herself a leader of the ANC. So we are also trying to make sure that we take charge of that media coordination. Over to you, SSG.
I think, Devo, you have already indicated that people should not use memorial lectures to rubbish one another. I'm sure that's what we are saying. We can only give people political education, persuade them all the time to say it is wrong to use such platforms, especially funeral platforms as well as memorial lectures to rubbish one another. I don't think that is the character of the ANC. Maybe things change, but real leaders don't do that. And I think we'll keep on educating people that it's unacceptable, it's not supposed to happen. Ill-disciplined cadres who are nurtured and grilled in the politics of the ANC don't do that. And will plead to everybody out there. But we live in a world which people define as democratic. And people don't think of responsibilities and accountability. People just talk because they say they are free, they are democratic, they have freedom of speech. All those things come with responsibilities, and responsible leadership behave in a particular way. And it's for the nation to judge how leaders and responsible leaders behave. Of course, we will preserve. And you know, even Mama Winnie believed, and this is the culture where we come from. We used in the ANC, maybe things are changing. When we honor people, we honor people because from the time of struggle until the end, when they are no more, you can then say this person will never betray the revolution. And that's why the culture of the African National Congress, its tradition, we could only name places after those who have left. And that's how we're going to honor Comrade Winnie Madikizela-Mandela as South Africans, because she doesn't just belong to the African National Congress. And the Brantford Museum will happen. We have addressed it yesterday, that there wasn't this thing which people talk about and they don't know. Since when have we actually discussed with the family this matter? From 2006, 2007, we have been engaging the family on this matter. There is no government money which is missing. And, I don't know how many times we shall have to clarify and repeat this. But the museum in Brantford will be there. The statues of Comrade Winnie Madikizela-Mandela will be there throughout the country. The statue of Mama Sisulu will be there throughout the country. Those are our heroes who have fought for this struggle, for you and I to be free today. Media freedom, freedom of association, belong to anywhere you want, freedom of movement. This is what Winnie Mandela has actually fought for. And many others, including the masses of our people. Because in whatever we do, we must at the center put the masses of our people, South Africans, who have contributed immensely, more than many of us who believe at times that we are the ones who have actually liberated South Africa. So Mama Winnie is part of that finest liberators and icons of our revolution. And I'm sure we will preserve her legacy. A lot has not been said about Comrade Winnie Madikizela-Mandela. And that's why we're encouraging people who know the real history to write, not people who read something else. And we are going to write to make sure that we preserve her legacy. We will talk about oral history, because when we translate this history orally, it must actually reach generations to come. And those who know her better, including South Africans. And this is what the media is doing since the death of Comrade Winnie Madikizela-Mandela. You have shown as South Africans that live whoever is negative, that this is the time to talk about patriots like Winnie Madikizela-Mandela. And we give credit to you. And we say, keep it up and make sure that South Africans understand the real Winnie. South Africans understand where we come from, so that they understand that this freedom, we did not just get it on the platter. Blood and sweat. So I'm sure we are watching that space, and positive things are happening. And I think we should congratulate all South Africans, including the opposition parties, for actually giving and talking about all the positive things and things which Comrade Winnie Madikizela-Mandela did for South Africans and for humanity in general.
Thanks, SG. You see, the good thing about mass media, SG, is that as we are busy talking to the nation, they also bring in some feedback. Part of the feedback we are getting is from the National Youth Development Agency, just clarifying that the gala dinner is going to be held at the Freedom Park in Pretoria tomorrow, if there are members of the media who are interested to follow up on that one. And that the lecture on the 6th is an ANC program, and of course at the right time we'll be able to convey a statement and advice on who will be addressing that event on behalf of the ANC. This brings us to the end of this briefing. We will keep on updating members of the media. Tomorrow we are going to Soweto. If there are any other developments, we'll be able to file them accordingly. Thanks for coming once more.
Okay. Thank you.